In HDR Light Studio 5.4 we have additional rotation controls for lights. You can find these in the Transform Extended section. You could just leave this rolled up, keep the interface nice and clean. If you don't want to use those controls, we do have a rotation control in the Z-axis if that's all you need. So let's get on to the new controls. So in the Transform Extended section we have rotations and enable advanced rotations. So if we enable this, to begin with there'll be no change because free mode means that the light will face the light paint position as you move it around, and that is the standard behavior even when advanced rotations are not on. The difference being that once we've got a light positioned, we now have these adjustment buttons. So I can click on here and drag, and then I can tilt the light up, tilt the light down, I can tilt it sideways, and I can still rotate on the Z. Now the difference being with these adjustments is that the resting orientation in free mode is actually facing the light paint position, and we have applied these adjustments. So as we move the light around, it will maintain those adjustments from that natural position of looking at the light paint position. So if I just reset this, and let's do something to make it more obvious. So I'll put the light there, and I'm going to tip this light forwards quite a lot on its x-axis. As I then use light paint and move this light around, it will continue to have that offset. It will continue to lean forwards from that light paint position that it was looking at. So this is how it works. The mode that you choose, the rotation mode, determines the kind of the natural resting position of the light, and then you make adjustments to that, and they are maintained. If you want to get rid of those adjustments, you press reset. So that's how it works. So the next rotation mode is V-lock. That stands for vertical lock. So basically the resting, the natural position of this light when you use it is that it will point at the light paint position, but it will remain vertical. This can be useful for lighting packaging where you want to maintain your verticals in the reflections. Again, even though this has a vertical lock, that is the kind of the resting position of the light. If we then put a bit of tilt on it still, then it will be tilting from vertical the same amount wherever we place that light. So that's how that works. And then when you change your mode, that will reset any adjustments anyway, so I don't need to reset this. The next mode is H-lock, which is for horizontal lock, and it basically faces downwards. So as I move this light around, it will always face down, but it will still point towards the light paint position. So I can then put an adjustment on that and tilt it and say twist it in the Z, and it will maintain that offset. And I could reset that, and then I could also flip the light if I wanted to, so it was actually the light was emitting from the other direction. And when you use this in conjunction with your 3D software, Maya, Cinema 4D, 3ds Max or MODO, as soon as your mouse is released, then this new orientation will update in your main software. The next mode we've got is fixed. Essentially fixed, the natural position for this is the light facing downwards but aligned with the x-axis in the scene. So essentially that light will not change orientation at all. It is actually fixed. Therefore, if we put any adjustments onto this, so if I kind of twist this slightly, wherever I move that light, it will always face in that direction. And equally, I can flip it. Okay, so let's go back to free mode. and let's just put the light down here. So another thing to note is with the positionable light handle, if I was to move the handle, you'll see the light interactively updates in terms of its positioning. So if I put the handle on the bottom here, and then I was to click on here, I've now been able to position the start of that light reflecting in my model by its bottom edge there. If I do things like scale the light, that will then also happen from that light handle position. Also, if I was to use the advanced rotations on this light, so I will just bring that light a little closer and start to tip the light. It's actually being tipped by the edge because I've moved the light handle to the edge. And then if I move it to this bottom corner and then I move it on this axis, you can see how that swings around. So the combination of the positionable light handle and the new advanced rotations mean that you can position your lights literally anywhere you want very easily in HDR Light Studio 5.4.